Can you tell the difference between a high quality floor and a cheap one just by simply looking at it? Most people can't. And that's exactly why so many homeowners end up overpaying for cheap materials or regretting what they choose. So let me walk you through how to spot the difference, how to choose flooring that's actually built to last, and how to avoid wasting your money on cheap materials. We'll break down how to tell if your flooring is truly high quality, even before it's installed. You'll learn how to find the best flooring materials for your budget without falling for gimmicks. And I'll show you the most common mistakes homeowners make when shopping for floors so you don't end up stuck with something that looks nice for only a month and then falls apart. Whether you're looking for hardwood, laminate, or luxury vinyl plank, this will help you walk into any flooring store with confidence. If you're planning a flooring project and don't want to make a decision you'll regret, stay with me. One of my clients thought she was getting a deal. The floor she picked out was labeled premium, but the planks were paper thin, just 4.5 millimeters thick. It didn't take long for the problems to start. Planks started separating, edges were lifting, and everything felt loose underfoot. She called me frustrated and asked if it could be fixed. But at that point, the only real fix was to replace it. So we helped her pick out a 12mm laminate floor with a solid core and locking mechanism that actually holds up, and she hasn't had a single issue since. She did spend more money the second time around, but if she'd known what signs to look for earlier, she could have avoided the extra cost, the stress, and the headache. That's why it's so important to understand what quality actually looks like when you're shopping for flooring, because the wrong choice can cost you twice as much. Let's start with what makes flooring truly high quality. The main things to look at are the materials, thickness, finish, and the warranty. For engineered hardwood floors, check the veneer thickness to make sure they're at least 2mm thick. You also may want to make sure that the overall thickness of the hardwood floor is at least ½ inch thick. The thicker the floor, the higher the quality is. Also, pay attention to the finish. Satin or matte finishes are the most durable and tend to hold up better than glossy ones. You also want to consider the species of the wood. Some are much more scratch resistant than others. For example, European white oak, which is this right here, is usually the best for engineered hardwood flooring. For laminate, you want to aim for at least a 10mm thick floor and ask for the AC rating, which you can find on the back of the sample. Anything rated AC4 or AC5 is built to handle wear and tear. If it's under 10mm thick or has a low AC rating, it usually means lower quality. For luxury vinyl plank, make sure it's at least 6mm thick and has a 20mm wear layer. There are a lot of cheap LVP products on the market right now, and if the specs are off, you're going to notice issues very fast. For luxury vinyl plank flooring, thickness is very important. Some LVPs have 20mm wear layers, but they're only 4 to 5mm thick. These floors have very weak locking mechanism, so make sure you're looking for LVP floors that are at least 6 to 7mm in overall thickness. Also, always check the manufacturer warranty. A strong warranty usually means the product is actually made to last. And take the time to look up online reviews for the brand. If the product isn't holding up well in real homes, you'll find it out real quick in those reviews. Now let's talk about some red flags that usually point to low quality flooring. If it's extremely thin, like under 5mm for vinyl or under 8mm for laminate, that's a sign to stay away. Overly glossy floors tend to scratch easier and show wear faster. Cheap locking systems that feel loose or flimsy are another red flag. If something says premium on the box, but the price is way lower than similar products, that's worth questioning. And if a company is only talking about the price or how fast they can install the floor, but not the actual specs of the product, that's a red flag too. Back to the client I mentioned, her floor actually had a 20mm wear layer, but the planks were too thin and the locking system was so weak that the wear layer didn't matter. Within a year, the floor was separating. The specs need to work together. Thickness, wear layer, locking system, they all matter. So now that you know how to spot quality, let's talk about how to compare different flooring types. Hardwood floors look amazing and have great resale value, but they're more expensive and not as water resistant. Laminate is great for families or anyone on a budget. It's tough, scratch resistant, and doesn't break the bank. LVP is super versatile, waterproof, and comes in a wide range of styles, but the quality can vary a lot. So you've really got to check those specs closely. If you've got pets, kids, or a lot of foot traffic, go for a premium laminate or high quality LVP. For kitchens, bathrooms, or any place with moisture, you need waterproof flooring. If you're designing a formal space or you're thinking about resale value, go for hardwood or a premium laminate floor like Revwood that has real wood visuals. We've helped tons of families here in Raleigh figure this out based on how they actually live. It's not about focusing on the current trend. It's about what will hold up in your home and your lifestyle. Alright, so let's say you're standing in a flooring store and you're trying to make a decision. What should you ask? Start with the thickness. Ask how thick the floor is and what the wear layer is. For laminate, ask what the AC rating is. Ask about the warranty, what's covered, and how long it'll last. Ask what brand the floor is, and then check those reviews online. And if you can, take a sample home, look at it in your lighting, and even try scratching it. Get a real feel for how it's going to hold up. These are the same questions I'd ask if I were shopping for my own floors. Now, let's move on to price. Flooring is one of those things where you really don't want to cut corners. It's okay to save a little in guest rooms or low traffic areas, but in the rooms where you spend most of your time, like the kitchen, the living room, or big spaces, this is where you want to invest in good materials and good labor. Because going too cheap almost always means you'll pay more later, whether it's in repairs, replacements, or just living with a floor you hate. Flooring is a long-term decision, and the cheaper option usually ends up being more expensive in the long run. Last thing, watch out for sales tricks. If the whole pitch is about price or fast installs, and there's barely any mention of the product itself, that's not a good sign. If they're offering one-day installation, they're probably rushing through prep work. And if they say installation is free, chances are the cost is buried somewhere else in the price. Look for companies that take the time to educate you, not to just sell you. If they're answering your questions and walking you through all the specs, that's a good sign. Always hire the company who you feel is most qualified to do the highest quality work with the best quality materials. But here's the thing that most people still miss. Even with the right floor picked out, there are 5 big mistakes people make that you need to know before buying new floors. I'll link that video right here. Definitely watch it next.